Hello, welcome to this Android development tutorial brought to you by North Border Software. This is part 26 of the Getting Started in Android Development series. We're going to carry on with the theme of sounds in this one. I'm going to look at the sound pool. In the last tutorial we looked at media player, which is excellent for playing background music. I do have a set of tutorials up on YouTube and my website which look at audio track. Track is great for playing uncompressed pulse code mediation type files, .wav files, and also synthesized waveforms using pulse code modulation. But SoundPool brings something else to the table, really. If we're writing a game or we want some sounds on button clicks, then we want a resource which is geared up for small sound effects which you can preload in memory and just call those when needed. So that's what the sound pool is. We're just going to allocate an area on the device memory to preload some sounds and give each sound an ID, an integer ID, and just call it when we actually need it. So very quick, very low latency, but geared up for small sounds. There are limits on sound pool, the size of the sound pools, and the size of the sound pool itself. So what I've done is created just a small layout here with two buttons, an play explosion and play spring, and I've, as normal at this stage now, I've just created the activity associated with that. I've set up the on-click listeners for each of those buttons as well, so all we need to do is just focus on the sound pool itself. So first of all, I'm going to set up some variables. First of all, something for the sound pool itself. So something like sound pool, we'll call this our sounds. Okay. And we would leave the integer values for the moment. We'll just work on the sound pool itself. So what we'll do, rather than just type all the code in the main onCreate method, we'll create a private method to initialize the sound pool. So we just type initialize, let's do it that way, sound pool. Okay, and all we need to do is then just create that method. We have that here, so we just type all the sound pool code in here. First of all, I'm going to set up some audio attributes. There's really two methods of setting up the sound pool. One is really for API level 21 and above, and one is for API below 21. So from API 21 we had the sound pool builder which we need to use, and that's what we're going to set up first of all. It will complain, but that's okay. There's some code we can put in to get around that. First of all, I'm going to set some audio attributes. Now these are optional. It just provides the system some information about the sounds themselves and what they're used for. It's not actually essential. You can actually get away with not using it, but if you've got the information at hand, then it's probably good practice really to put the attributes in. So first of all, audio attributes, and we'll just call this audio lowercase attributes equals new audio attributes, and it'd be dot builder. Okay, we don't need those brackets there. Okay, and what we'll do, we'll set up the attributes themselves. So if we just do a carriage return and do set content type is what we're looking for, and there's numerous different types of attributes we can put in here. So let's just set up, I'll show you the list of these. So you've got content type music, movies, speech, unknown. This is going to be music because basically sound effects are just little MP3 files as well. and what we do now is just set the usage, and the usage will be audio attributes dot, and I've used it for a game, for instance, not really good game here, but nonetheless it's a game. So you can see all these selections you can choose from there. Okay, so it's just put in the game. Okay, and last thing we need to do is type dot build. Okay, so that's the attribute setup. What I haven't pointed out here as part of the prep is if you look at the resources, I've actually put a small sound effect in the two sound effect files here in the raw directory. So the explosion and the spring here, and we're going to associate the sound pool with those sounds soon. So let's get on with the building the sound pool itself. So it'll be our sounds equals new sound pool, and we'll put dot builder in there. Okay, and we'll just get on now. We'll set some parameters now. So the first one to do is set max streams. Now we've got two sounds, so I'm going to set that to 2. Otherwise, I think it defaults to 1. We'll set the audio attributes. We just need to pass the variable we set up there, which is audio attributes. And finally, just need to type dot build. Okay. Just close that bracket off. So that's the builder actually set. So what we do now is just load the sounds in themselves. So what we need to do is set up 2 more variables. These will be integer variables. We'll put them at the top here. So each sound we give them basically an integer value, which is just an index really. So sound explosion, and I'll set up another interval here, which will be sound spring. Okay. So what we'll do, we're going to use those now. Again, this is complaining here now because of the you can see here with this error message, API 21 minimum on this particular tutorial set 1 is 14. We'll take care of that in a minute. Let's just carry on and get the sounds loaded. So next line of code is sound. Let's pick sound explosion equals our sounds dot load, and we'll pick the context of this, and then we need to point it to the raw file. So r dot raw dot, and it would be explosion, and we need to give this a priority. Now this priority is currently unused, so you always set the priority 1 for future compatibility. We'll do a similar thing now with the sound for the spring. So again, our sounds dot load, and we'll pick up the context. The context is this r dot raw dot spring and 1. Okay, so so that's actually done. So to get rid of this error message which we had, what we can do is surround this with an if statement, which is going to look for the API build that we're currently using, we can use the new scheme if the condition is met, else we'll use the old form of SoundPool, which is now depracted. If you use the old form, it'll still work, but it makes sense to use the latest code where you can. So let's just type an if then here, an if statement here. So if, and it'd be build dot version, and it'd be dot SDK int. So just setting up the condition is greater or equal to build dot version codes. We need to select there, and it'd be dot lollipop for API 21. Okay, and we just open up the brackets there, and we'll close them there, and it'd be else. Okay, so we've encapsulated all that code, which will be executed if the API version of the device is lollipop or higher. If not, we'll just use the old means of loading in. So it would be our sounds equals new SoundPool. You'll still get this little line comes in, says it's depracted, but that doesn't really matter. So max streams 2, audio manager, and it'd be dot stream music, and priority of 1. Okay, and we can just copy these 2 lines of code here. Okay, so that's a nice neat way of actually setting up the SoundPool for different API builds. Okay, so all we need to do now is set up the on-click listener to play the sounds. So all we need to do is type our sounds it'll be dot play. You can see all the parameters need to put in there, the sound ID with the volume for the left and right, and the volume is expressed in a floating point notation, highest 1, lowest 0. So what we'll do, it will go something like 9% of the volume. So first thing we need to do is put the sound ID in there. So it'll be sound ID explosion and 0.9f, 0.9f, and we'll set up a priority of 1. And there'll be no loop. It's not going to, so it'll just be 0 for no loop, and just play it once. We need to set up a rate. The rate can be set to anything between 0.5 and half the rate, and to twice the normal rate. So that's all we need to do there. Setting it for 1 is normal playback. So we can basically just copy this into the Spring and just change that to Sound Spring. And really that's all there is to it. So all we have to do is now is go ahead and test that out. Okay, so the application is loading now. Let's just launch that and test the SoundPool. Okay, just play the explosion and the spring. Let's just get them both working at the same time. So you can hear they're both working concurrently. So that's really just a demonstration of the SoundPool, how that's put together. I hope you found the tutorial useful, and catch you in the next one. Bye for now.